What is up everybody, it's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and today we will be talking about the crazy plot twist that just happened in the Black Clover story. A plot twist that I honestly did not see coming. This absolutely massive development has left me in shock, and I am honestly not sure exactly what to make of it. But during the course of this video, I will do my best to flesh out exactly what happened in chapter 214, and I will examine what type of impact the events of this chapter are going to have on the Black Clover story going forward. If you enjoyed the Black Clover content on this channel and you want to see more, please leave a like to let me know. And if you're new to AnimeUproar, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar for all the latest Black Clover news and updates. And of course, I will be talking about the latest developments in the Black Clover story, so manga spoilers will be coming. Proceed with caution, you have been warned. The chapter starts off with the souls of the elves floating up to the sky, and in the previous chapter, the reincarnated Licht had made it clear that he does not intend to stay in his artificial body, and that instead he intends to join his wife in the afterlife. So in this chapter, Rades Spirito steps up and uses the evolved form of his soul corpse magic to revive Patri's soul inside the artificial body that Licht had been using. You will recall that Rades first developed the ability to actually bring the souls of the dead back inside their bodies after Patri sacrificed him and his comrades Sally and Valtos back in chapter 166. Back then, he was able to bring himself, Sally, and Valtos back from the dead, and in this chapter, he uses his magic to revive Patri's soul inside the artificial body of Licht. Rades explains that he was able to do this because the artificial body was initially created based on Patri's body, so Patri's soul was highly compatible with the body itself. Rades then goes on a bit of a confused rant where he tells Patri that he can't just leave into a peaceful afterlife after everything he has done and all the humans that he has trampled on. Rades wants him to live forever so that he has to live with the consequences of all of his actions. Rades then makes some threats that he will be the one to one day kill Patri and exact his revenge, and that Patri doesn't deserve an easy death anyway, but Patri appears to see his revival as a blessing, an opportunity to actually atone for all the terrible things that he has done. Patri then has a brief heartfelt moment with his dearest friend William, who he can now actually touch and speak to as someone separate from himself. But Patri says that even though they can't expect forgiveness, they must go on and apologize to all the people that they have wronged, starting with the Wizard King Julius Novachrono. As all the Magic Knights of the Clover Kingdom are working to cope with the destruction from the massive battle against the elves, Asta admits that he is actually in terrible pain, and Noel points out that he pushed himself too far again. The first Wizard King Lumiere thanks Asta for finally destroying the devil's binding curse that has existed for over 500 years. Although Asta knows that he was only able to do it with the help of another devil who dwells within his grimoire. As Noel, Mimosa, and Asta come to terms with the fact that the actual first Wizard King is there talking to them and that Nero was actually a human girl all along, and as Noel of course gets jealous of Nero because she is now a cute girl that is also close to Asta, Lumiere explains that he has run out of the mana required to maintain his connection to the body that he is currently using. Lumiere thanks Sacre, aka Nero, for helping him protect the future from the 500-year-old threat, and he tells her that he looks forward to her living on in the present and continuing to protect the Clover Kingdom along with the current Magic Knights. Lumiere also says that he is happy to have been able to meet his own descendants, by which he means Noel and Mimosa, who are members of the royal family and therefore direct descendants of the first Wizard King's royal bloodline. In a recent volume of the manga, we got Lumiere's character profile, and there it is revealed that his last name is Silva Million. This suggests that the Silva and Vermilion noble families were once part of the same family, Silva Million, but they split at some point in the past. This would explain why both Mimosa and Noel are direct descendants of Lumiere despite having different last names. Sacre is of course heartbroken that the first Wizard King has to leave because she loved being able to serve alongside him for all of this time, and Lumiere thanks her for everything before his current body disintegrates. Elsewhere, Yami and William are trying to locate the Wizard King's body, but for some reason his body is missing. Suddenly they turn around and see something in the forest behind them, and a voice calls out to them saying, "I'm sorry for disappointing you all by not being able to help in the kingdom's moment of crisis. I thought the effect of my magic would kick in a bit faster. I think it was about 13 years worth. That's how much time I had saved up. But it was a gamble as to whether or not it would be able to activate properly." At that point, we see the star that has always been on the Wizard King Julius's forehead disintegrate, and then we see Julius himself, alive and wearing his normal usual clothes, but he looks much younger. We really have to wait for the coming chapters to figure out exactly what happened here and how Julius's time magic was able to save him. But this is my guess so far. Julius managed to save up 13 years worth of time during the course of his life. He was able to do this because his time magic enables him to steal and store the time of others and then use this time later for his spells. My guess is that when Julius was killed by Patri, he ran out of time. He was dead, so his time was up. But with the help of a mysterious spell that is clearly related to the star symbol that was tattooed on his forehead, he was able to revive himself, and he was then able to go from 0 time to 13 years because of the time that he had saved up. So instead of having 0 time, Julius is now 13 years old because he added those saved up years onto himself when he revived. At 13, he is definitely going to be very young, but at least he will be capable of thinking and interacting with others on a normal level. If he had been revived with 0 time, he would have just been a baby, so he would have been useless as the Wizard King. Again though, this is just me speculating. It seems to me that he combined some sort of unknown revival spell with the 13 years that he had saved up in order to make himself come back to life at the age of 13. Julius's grimoire has also been revived along with him, although his grimoire is now just a single page. So this likely means that Julius will need to relearn all of the magical spells that he once knew. And if that is the case, then you can expect him to be going on adventures with Asta and the crew and training with them until he relearns all of his OP time magic spells that he was able to do in the past. And also, if Julius really did lose most of his spells and abilities, it is possible that the kingdom will still need to find a replacement for him. A 13-year-old kid who has to relearn all of his powers would not be the most effective Wizard King. So someone else may have to step in and become the next Wizard King until Julius reaches his former levels of power. But we will have to wait and see. I will be keeping a close eye on the coming chapters, and I'll be looking for how exactly Julius managed to revive himself and how this will affect the story moving forward. But now let's talk about what I actually think about the events of this chapter. I know that a lot of people are upset that Julius was revived after everything that just happened in this arc, and I definitely understand where they are coming from. The sacrifice that Julius made in his fight against Patri was so powerful and so meaningful, and it shaped the story going forward. The fact that he didn't actually die, or rather that he died but then he was brought back to life, really cheapens the sacrifice that he made. It changes the story completely. Yes, it's true that we've always known that Julius's time magic was extremely OP. And if even Rades can now bring people back from the dead, then is it that much of a stretch to think that Julius could pull this off? No, I would say that within the world of Black Clover, this is not a stretch. It is surprising, it is unexpected, but it is definitely not something that is out of the realm of possibility for this magical world. I definitely find Julius's magic to be very interesting. I love him as a character, and a part of me is very excited to learn more about him and about his time magic. At the same time, a part of me is disappointed that his meaningful sacrifice has now been negated. I'm also not a huge fan of this whole Patri revival either. I know that he has been changing as a character, but he still did horrible things, and he did them by acting on false information without actually checking to see what really happened during the Elf Massacre. Does Patri's redemption and atonement really need to be a major component of the Black Clover story going forward? Do we even need Patri to be an important character in the future? I would have to say no. There are plenty of interesting characters in Black Clover, and many of them are a lot more likable than Patri, at least in my opinion. But with that said, I don't want to jump to conclusions and say that the story has been ruined because of what happened with Patri and Julius. I will give Tabata the benefit of the doubt and see where he takes the story from here. If he can explain everything in a satisfying way, and if he can use the young Julius and Patri in ways that work for the story, then I will be able to roll with the latest twists without a problem. But if these latest developments end up taking away from the story or not fitting in with the rest of the story, then I may have to give all of this some more serious thought. But suffice it to say, I have no plans of dropping Black Clover anytime soon. I've been loving the story thus far, and I think Yuki Tabata deserves the benefit of the doubt on this one. With that said, please let me know what you guys think. Are you angry that Patri and Julius were revived? Or are you happy, and why? And how do you think that these major twists are going to affect the story going forward? Please let me know down in the comments. I'm really interested in hearing everyone's opinion on these massive reveals. If you enjoyed the Black Clover content on this channel, you can leave a like to let me know. And if you happen to be new to AnimeUproar, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar for all the latest news and updates. A huge thank you to all of our AnimeUproar patrons for supporting our work. I want to give a special thank you to our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, Keelan, and Angel Cruz. Another huge thank you to our The One tier patrons, the ones who stand above all other clans, including Baby Ray, Ace, Ingrata, Alolanada, Maddie Mac, and Mako Takun. And at the very pinnacle of interdimensional greatness, the tier reserved only for legends. A massive thank you to Reagan Harrison, a disciple of Lord Twigo himself. If you guys feel that our content provides value for you and you want to support more, be sure to check out our Patreon link in the description. Even donating a single dollar will give you access to our AnimeUproar patron exclusive Discord, and your name will appear in our videos along with these amazing people. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate it. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.